right, good enough. I kind of like that music I picked out. It takes me back to the 90s punk stuff. And here we are. We are live at the Behind the Bits studio or whatever you want to call it with Justin Foster. How's it going, Justin?
Good. Good morning. I guess I should say we're
Yeah.
3 hours different, right? It's like 3 o'clock where you're at, right?
Yep.
That's right.
It's afternoon for me and kind of just after afternoon for you. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More morning for me, but yeah.
Yeah.
afternoon for most people.
Yeah, no doubt. So I've been doing a little bit of stalking on you for YouTube and stuff like that, and I'm pretty impressed with your crowd work and stuff, and I want to talk about that at sometime during the podcast. But this is the rapid round where I ask you preset questions like they would ask on Entertainment Tonight, so the people who are watching live can get to know you a little bit. And then, folks, after the rapid round, we get real. We start talking, and you have to subscribe to the podcast, which is called the Behind the Bits podcast, if you don't already know. And all you got to do is go to any app, any podcast app that you have, and type in Behind the Bits, subscribe. And when Justin's episode comes up, you'll be able to listen to the whole thing, and it's going to be great. I already know. Holy cow, Justin. I already know this, but where are you from?
Originally Dallas, Texas. Yeah.
And you're in LA now, right?
I am. Yeah, I've been out here about 8 years.
Okay.
So.
Okay, great. So how long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
It's 15 years in July, actually.
Okay.
I celebrated 15 years in quarantine. So
yeah,
my first show was at the Improv in Dallas, and my last show was in my bedroom, and it's exactly where I figured I would be after 15 years. Alone, talking to my phone.
I know, it just sucks. It's absolutely the worst. So starting 15 years ago, you must have been pretty young when you started. What influenced you to start doing stand-up comedy? Was it other comics? Was it, what got you into it?
Yeah, so I was a waiter at the Improv in Dallas. I waited tables there, and the money was like really good. I had no interest in doing comedy. I was just like, my roommate worked there, and she's like, yeah, it's really easy money, and it's like you work at a comedy club. And so she got me a job there. So I was waiting tables there for a while and making good money, and then I was like, I don't know, man. I just started seeing everyone do comedy like every like Wednesday through Sunday, and I would see some like the best, but I would also see these people that weren't that great, you know. And I was like, I could probably be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I probably won't be the worst person on the show, but it was really cool, like starting out as a waiter at a comedy club, because it's like, I mean, Bill Burr was featuring, Sebastian Maniscalco was doing guest spots. Like it was like, it was really cool. You got to see like everybody. And so that kind of inspired me to like do like an open mic, that cliche story where you do the open mic and then it's like you're hooked forever. But that was pretty much my experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And any of those comics that came through when you were waiting tables, not just like the Bill Burrs of the world, but anybody really stick out to you and say, man, I want to be like them?
I remember I got to host for Daniel Tosh. And I remember like being like, just like really I really love like his style of comedy. And like, it was like kind of like, I don't know, like quote unquote edgy, I guess, but like, he just didn't really care. I really like that. Greg Giraldo. I was always like, I always loved watching Giraldo. I remember Patrice came through and did a weekend. I just remember being like on the floor. So there was a lot of people like that. You know what's really funny is like, I forgot who it was, but there was like this big name comic they had to cancel, right? And it was like, we were all really looking forward to it. And the management pulled us aside, like, this guy got a movie. He's not going to be here this weekend. So we have a replacement comedian. It's not going to be that busy. You guys probably aren't going to make a lot of money. So sorry about this weekend, but just kind of hang in there or whatever. So, the guy came in and it was Kevin Hart.
Oh, wow.
He was like the replacement. And I remember the staff, like we were like just on the floor, like dying. Like we were watching every show and it was like, this guy was like a monster. And like, there was like, I don't know, man, like it wasn't even like half filled back then, you know? And then it was really, and then the next time he came back, he was doing like a theater and then an arena and then like the football stadium or whatever. But it was like really cool to be kind of like on the ground floor of that, to being like, this guy's like amazing, you know? So there's a few of those comics that like really stood out to where we were like, it's, Sebastian, like he was like one of our he would come in and do like guest spots and like feature and stuff. And then if I'm not mistaken, we might've been one of the first clubs to headline him. I know we were the first couple of clubs to headline Sebastian, but he was just like a staff favorite. We had him every like 6 months. So yeah, it was things like that. You really got to see and like watch these really great comedians.
Right. Now, being in the area of where the comedy is being done and just soaking all that up, do you feel like maybe you got like a leg up when you did that first open mic? You kind of knew that you're not supposed to do 3 minutes between your punchlines and stuff like that.
Exactly. No, exactly. It really, being like surrounded by it all the time, you saw like what worked, what didn't work. And then I had the advantage of like, I knew who like the cool local guys were that were like killing it. So I like went up to them and I was like, hey, here's my ideas. Can you guys help me? And we all sat down roundtable style. And like these, like the local guys that were like getting work, like helped me hammer out that first set and kind of taught me some things that I wouldn't have known, which was, it definitely gave me an advantage, I think.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So the next question is like totally off topic, but it's something I like to ask people because I think I already told you I hate small talk, so I like to talk about real stuff. Yeah. Are you like getting into any books that you're reading, any podcasts you're listening to, any music, anything that's inspiring you, especially during this downtime?
Sure. Yeah. I'm doing a lot of stuff, man. Like my friend was joking with me. He's like, man, you're the only one who's coming out of this like flourishing because I really am. I took like a 9-week meditation course cool. via Zoom from India. I've taken a couple of script writing classes. I'm reading a book right now called Story, which is like that and Save the Cat are like the two like script writing books like you have to have and you have to read. So I'm really doing that. I retook a comedy class online from my very first instructor in Dallas, who started offering it on Zoom. Okay. And it was like the guy I first learned comedy from, and I was like, you know what? Let me like check back in with this. So I did like this like really intense, writing course for stand up, and came out with all this new material. And so I'm kind of like doing a lot of stuff that I haven't really been able to do because of traveling and stuff with comedy. You don't really get to sit down and dedicate. I learned how to play bass. I just taught myself bass during quarantine, and so I've been very, very active and like doing a lot of stuff during this to kind of like
I totally applaud you for doing that, because I got I'm on the other end of the spectrum where it's hard for me to even just get up, but it's been better. I think when you commit to some stuff and the accountability you had with that class, then that makes a new sense of urgency and you actually get going, and you don't feel like you're forcing yourself as much. And
especially if sorry, go ahead.
I was done.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, especially like from an ego standpoint, like you don't want to take a stand-up class and being the guy who's done it for 15 years and like show up every week and like be like the worst one or like have no material to pitch, and like the people who have never done it before are just like running circles around you. So it really kept me accountable for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. One of the questions I like to ask is, and you can do like your top 3. What comedy album or special would you say are your top 3?
Specials? That's great. That's really good. Yeah, I would say Patrice O'Neill. I actually just watched his Comedy Central special like 2 nights ago again. David Tell's Skanks for the Memories, which is on Spotify, is just like perfect to me. And then you know what? I would say for me, like Kings of Comedy. When I was young, I remember watching, Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, and D.L. Hughley. Like that was it for me. Like that was like I love that special so much before I even like got into comedy like that. So I would say those 3: Patrice, Attell, and Kings of Comedy special. Yeah.
That's cool. It's sad that we don't have Bernie anymore, because he was definitely the strong one in that special.
What's funny is I went back and rewatched it recently, and I had like this like crazy new respect for Cedric the Entertainer set as well.
Oh yeah.
Which apparently was flipped. Apparently he had to follow Bernie on that special.
Oh, okay.
And if you watch it knowing that, it's kind of admirable because Bernie just absolutely just rips the entire place apart. Yeah. And I think I would have called it. I don't think I would have gone on if I was but it's all right. Just let him keep going. But yeah, those two, yeah, I actually rewatched it, and both of them it's just a powerhouse set.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to watch, and I don't consume a lot of TV media, but I watched the show he's on. I don't know what it's called, but I've watched the show it's on, and they've got him so restrained in that show. And I know it's a TV show and it's on network TV, and you gotta change certain things, but it's almost like it's not really even him.
Is that the one where he's like the neighbor?
Yeah, it's a black guy, white guy thing, and all the differences. And I just feel like they could have done so much more with him, and he's just really just playing like a character.
Yeah, it's really hard. Network TV they don't really take a lot of big swings anymore, or like a lot of chances.
No. Yeah.
I'm a big Simpsons fan, like a diehard Simpsons fan. I've been listening to I've been going back and watching because I have all the box sets and all the commentary and stuff of all the notes that they've gotten of like, you can't do that, you can't say this, and how just restricted they were, and that was considered like super edgy.
Yeah.
It's like
I remember that at the time. That was nuts.
Yeah, and it's like they were saying after the Janet Jackson thing at the Super Bowl, that the stuff they could do got like cut in half. Like they couldn't even show the cartoon characters' nudity anymore. They couldn't show Bart's butt after that.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Do you know Matthew Swakos? Because he loves your album, dude.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, I guess, I do have an album out. I guess I should have put that in my top 3, but I
yeah.
That would have been weird. It's like David Tell, Patrice O'Neal, and Justin Foster.
That Justin Foster album is great. So before we go off live here, I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about things that you're working on, places you'll be, and direct people to your socials and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just direct everyone to Instagram and YouTube. Instagram is Justin Comic. YouTube is the Justin Foster. As far as where I'm going to be, I really don't know. It's still kind of up in the air right now. But I do put up stand-up clips, sketches, crowd work stuff on both of those platforms. Also have an album on Spotify that people can check out. It's called Dangerless, and it's just my name, Justin Foster, and you can stream that for free. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you are going to be at the Plano Comedy Festival coming.
That's right. This weekend I am going to be at
what night are you?
I'm Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Saturday.
Are you in the roast battle?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not, which I wish I was. I actually just roast battled my girlfriend. The Jeff Ross thing. It was it was like one of the it was really fun.
Yeah.
She won. Spoiler.
I don't know why, but they put me in the roast battle, and I don't even know what I'm going to do because I've never done roasting before. I've been roasted, but I've never really done it. So I'll adapt.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, I think I'm doing an early Saturday show, like the 5 or 6 p.m. one or something like that. So that's cool. All right. Well, Justin, this has been the Rapid Round, and everybody watching, we're going to go off live and talk for real now, and listen to the Behind the Bits podcast. This week's episode is Mr. Showtime David Scott. And it's one of my favorite episodes because for a zany guy, he got really serious about comedy and talking about Broadway, talking about the Rat Pack and stuff like that. It was a really, really good episode. Cool. So if you haven't caught that yet, make sure you check that one out. And thanks for watching. We are going to go off live now and have a great day. I will see you at the check-in about 2 hours.